Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to discuss how to create a goal setting system inside of Notion. And you might be wondering to yourself, why should I bother setting goals? And I would say to you, you don't really have a choice, right? As human beings, we are constantly changing. We are constantly moving from point A to point B. And the only decision we really get to make is, what is my point B going to be? And that's where goal setting comes in. Goal setting is a mechanism for giving us direction in life. Now, to quote James Clear, we do not rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. Goals are great for setting direction, but they're not so great for getting us there, right? The goals are the direction, the systems that we have are the engine. And that's why we're really embedding this whole goal setting structure inside of our personal life hub. And I will just show you real quick what that looks like. As you can see over here, we have our action hierarchy, right? We got our action items in the bottom, we have our projects and our habits, and then we have our goals. We have our SMART goals, which are really achievable goals that we are actually planning to complete. And then we have our vision goals. And these are very long-term goals that inspire us, that empower us, but that we don't necessarily have to complete. They're really about setting direction. And all of that is embedded into our life purpose, right? What are we here for? What do we truly want to create in this world? And that's a never-ending process. So our goals really give us direction, but then our system allows us to execute on those goals. Now, before we dive into the video, I will just give you a few key tips in order to optimize your goal setting process, and then I'm going to show you how to actually build this element. The first tip that I want to give is that every goal takes sacrifice. For anything that you say yes to, you say no to everything else, right? So if you are going to pursue a goal, you will have to make sacrifices. You will have to suffer. And only if a goal is worth that suffering, only if the energy you get from a goal is more than you put into it, you should pursue a goal. Otherwise, it's not sustainable, and I would highly recommend you to pick a different goal. And the second tip that I want to give you is on the amount of goals to set. There's a lot of different advice out there. Some people will say you need to set one goal per life area. Other people might say you need to set 5 goals or 3 goals or 1 goal. My advice to you would be, figure out what works for you. Start with a small amount of goals, and as long as you're hitting these goals, as long as you're getting the results that you want, you can keep setting more goals. But the moment you notice you start setting more goals than you know what to do with, then maybe take a step back, right? Because at the end of the day, it matters if we're moving into the direction we want to move and not if we set the ideal amount of goals. So figure out what works for you and set excellent goals. That being said, let's dive into our Notion workspace. The first thing we are going to do is we're going to open up our Meaning Crafter workspace, and we're going to navigate down into this database collection hub, and we're going to open this database over here, the Vision Goals database. Now, the database itself is very simple. We just have a goal name, a time horizon, and a relation to the SMART Goals database. And we're going to cover this one later, but for now, let's just look at this time horizon over here, which has 3 different tags that we can use: 5 years, 7.5, and 10. And yeah, I personally recommend going for the 10 years most of the time because I like setting very long-term goals, but you could also shorten that time horizon a little bit. And a quote that I really like here, it's by Tony Robbins, who says, "Most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in a decade," right? So setting that 10-year, very ambitious goal can really help us to become motivated and work towards something greater than just the next project or the next action item. All right, let's actually go into this goal over here. I'm just going to open up this page. I'm just going to make this tiny bit smaller. And yeah, I'm not going to look at the title yet because that's something we're going to really fill in at the end. First, I want to show you the process of setting a vision goal. Now, I just want to iterate one more time. It is very, very, very important that we set excellent vision goals. And what I mean by an excellent vision goal is that we set a goal that is really empowering, something that is really meaningful to us and that brings us closer to our purpose, right? So maybe we only have one vision goal, or maybe we have 2, or maybe we have 3, but we don't have 20, right? These are very meaningful and big goals that we're setting. So it's really important that we take the time and the energy to properly set this goal, to properly scope and set this goal. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna ask ourselves, why do I want to set this vision goal? And really take some time to think about this. Why is it that I want to build my own online business, right? Is this just something that I think I want, that other people expect from me? Or is it something that I truly want, that truly resonates with my life purpose, right? That's the second question we're going to consider. How does this contribute to my life purpose? And you might be wondering to yourself, I don't have a life purpose, or I don't know what my life purpose is. And that is fine, right? Many people don't know what their life purpose is. And it's not a static thing. It's not like, hey, this is your one life purpose, but it's something that changes with you, that grows with you. And as we get deeper into this system, as we start implementing this system into our lives, we will get more clarity on what our life purpose is. And by having that clarity, we will set better goals, and our day-to-day actions will contribute to the person who we want to be. So this is really a long-term investment in yourself. It's not sexy, it doesn't get you rich quick, but it does get you a meaningful and happy life. All right, cool. So once we consider this purpose, this deep work of our vision goal, we then move into the future. And the first question we ask ourselves is, what would my life look like if I pursued and reached this vision goal? And we really want to get in there, right? We really want to visualize, what would my life look like? What kind of people would I know? What would my day-to-day life look like? What kind of impact will I have made? How will I feel about myself, right? Really visualize what would happen if I reached this vision goal. Because this is important. If that feeling of what your life looked like, if that image of what your life would look like isn't a image that really motivates you, that really empowers you, then maybe you don't want to be pursuing this vision goal, right? Because we only have limited time. We only have limited resources. So we better make sure we really work towards a vision goal that is meaningful to us. And to really strengthen this effect, we're also going to do the opposite, right? So we're not just going to reward ourselves with the good vision, but we're also going to potentially punish ourselves with the bad vision. So what would happen if I did not pursue this vision goal, right? What does my heaven on earth look like? But also, what does my hell on earth look like? Because a reward can be a strong motivator, but pain and suffering can also really be a strong motivator. So inaction can sometimes be worse than the wrong action, right? Very often we consider only people who make wrong choices to be doing something wrong, but not making a choice or not taking action can be just as devastating and can be just as damaging, but not as apparent, right? So that's why we really also want to visualize what our life would look like if we did not take this action, if we did not pursue this vision goal. And that brings us to the sacrifices, because like I said in the intro, everything we pursue, everything we say yes to means we're saying no to all the other things. So when we pursue a vision goal, or when we pursue a set of vision goals, we really need to be hyper focused on those goals. And all the other things around it, we need to make sacrifices. We need to make trade-offs. So the first question we want to ask ourselves is, what sacrifices will I have to make to pursue this vision goal? So let's say, for example, I want to build my own online business, right? That impacts 100,000 people. What sacrifices will I have to make to build that online business? Maybe it means I don't get to enjoy a luxurious lifestyle because I have a good income, right? Maybe I need to sacrifice a steady job so I can work on my business. Maybe I need to sacrifice weekends away with friends or date nights with my girlfriend, right? Maybe I need more time than I have in a week and I need to lock myself up inside and go deep down the rabbit hole. So many sacrifices could be made to pursue this vision goal, and it's really important that you have a clear understanding of what these sacrifices are, because if you do, then you can ask yourself the question, am I willing to make those sacrifices, right? Am I willing to sacrifice those date nights? Am I willing to sacrifice that steady income? Or is that something that's so important to me that I'm not willing to sacrifice that? Because if you are not willing to make the sacrifices that are necessary to pursue your vision goal, you should not set this vision goal. And I'm going to repeat that. If you are not willing to make the sacrifices for a vision goal, you should not set that vision goal, because the only thing that you're setting is setting yourself up for failure, right? And we want to set vision goals that inspire and empower us, not that induce anxiety, stress, and dominate us. So, the second question you might be able to ask here is, if I'm not willing to make these sacrifices, what sacrifices am I willing to make? Because later on, we can use that as input to iterate our goal, to find a goal that we are able to strive for and that we are also willing to make sacrifices for. All right. Then the next thing that we do is we're going to look at the possibilities, right? Like I said earlier, most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in a decade. So before we start chasing our vision goal, we're going to do some radical challenging. And we're going to ask ourselves, what would this vision goal look like if I tried getting 10 times as much result? And we're not going a little bit more result. We're not going twice as much result. No, think outside of the box. What would this goal look like if I tried getting 10 times as much result, right? What if instead of impacting 100,000 people with my business, I want to impact 1 million people with my business, or 10 million people with my business? What would this vision goal look like then, right? And another question we might ask ourselves is, what would this vision goal look like if I tried doing it 10% of the time, right? We really want to force ourselves to think creatively about this vision goal and really make sure that we're not undershooting our own capabilities, right? You'd be really surprised what you can do in a decade. So dare to think big. Having said that, we're going to go way back to the top and we're going to keep iterating through all these questions until we find that goal that hits the sweet spot. A goal that truly empowers us, right? A goal that sets that direction that we are willing to sacrifice for, where we're really pushing ourselves to our edge, and a vision goal that is truly contributing to our life's purpose. Now, once again, the vision goal doesn't have to be completed. The goal of the vision goal is not to say, hey, I'm going to set this endpoint in 10 years and I need to get there. It's a tool for direction. And as the years progress, we're going to iterate on our vision goals. We're going to set new vision goals. But you will notice that as you do this more and more and more, your vision goals start diverging less and you start moving towards this middle point. And that's why we're setting these goals, because we want to make our time count. We want to make our SMART goals count. We want to make our projects count. And we want to make our day-to-day actions count. And embedding them into this bigger system is really what allows us to feel confident in the things that we do on a day-to-day basis, that they are contributing to the purpose that we have for our own lives. All right. The next thing we're then going to do is we're going to set at least one SMART goal that will contribute to this vision goal. So this vision goal is very abstract, it's very long-term, and we want to set at least one SMART goal that we can work on right here, right now, that is going to move us into that direction, right? We're setting the direction and then we want to move into that direction. And I'm going to explain in the second part how that SMART goal works, but for now, I just want to show you that we will set at least one SMART goal. And then the last thing that we do, once we've taken the time for this, and really take the time for this, right? If it takes an hour, if it takes 5 hours, if it takes multiple different sessions, that's perfectly fine. Take the time to really set a vision goal that inspires you. And once you've done that, once you've found that vision goal, right? Build my own online business that impacts 100,000 people per year and generates true abundance in my life and those of others, right? If that really resonates with me, then I can make the commitment, right? And you can make this commitment in your own words, in your own style, but basically what the goal of the commitment is that you make a deal with yourself. You make a pact with yourself that this is what you're going to strive for. This is what you're going to work towards. This is going to be the frame, the filter, how you're going to look at everything that comes in, right? Every opportunity, every chance, you're going to filter it through this vision goal or your set of vision goals. And if it does not contribute to the person that you truly want to be, we do not do it, right? And that's this commitment. This commitment is you making that deal with yourself, that pact with yourself. So that is how we set vision goals inside of our personal life hub. Now, in the next part, we're going to discuss how to set SMART goals. So be sure to tune in and check that one out. See you later.